Hello everybody and welcome to episode 14 of Remaking Cavestory in C++. Today we are going to start working on the HUD, or the heads-up display. This will just be part 1. There will be a few parts to this to making the HUD because it's a lot of different stuff put together. I'm Limeoats. My website is limeoats.com. My Twitter is @limeoats. My GitHub link is here, and my subreddit is here. So, what are we trying to do here? We need to see certain information on the screen. And we need the health, we need gun experience, we need gun level, all sorts of different stuff. And this all needs to be displayed nicely on the screen at all times. So in this episode, we'll be getting the health on the screen. And then in probably the next episode, we'll be getting some numbers and stuff for gun experience, gun level, that kind of stuff. But for right now, we're just going to focus on getting our health on the screen. So, details. Okay. The sprites for this come from textbox.pbm, so we're going to have to convert that to a PNG. And this is just some information for both of the sprites we're going to be using in this episode. We're going to be using a health bar sprite with these numbers, which we'll come back to, and a health number sprite with these numbers, which we'll come back to. So you'll see what all of that means in a bit when we get to it. So what are we going to do? How do we do this? First, we're going to create a bunch of sprite objects in a new HUD class. Then we're going to add special update and drawing logic, and then finally we're going to add it to the game class. And in here, I'm going to throw in add player health. Right now the player doesn't really have any health or any way to represent that, so we're going to add that in as well. We'll do that first. So let's start with that. Go to player.h, and what we're going to do, go down to our private variables, and down underneath, looking down, we'll make an int max health and int current health. We need to keep track of both of these. Okay? And then we're just going to make a quick getter function just to return that. So we'll just make it inline right here. So const inline int get max health const return max health. Same thing for current health. Alright. So all that's going to do is going to get us our max health and our current health. Okay. So now what we need to do, go into HUD, create Hud.H in our headers folder. And this is going to look a lot like a few of our other classes. Header guards, and then just class HUD, public and private. We'll have an empty default constructor. Then we'll have another constructor that takes in a graphics object and a player object. Now that sounds interesting. You'll see why we need that in a bit. But for now, we can forward declare graphics and player. And let's also include sprite.h, because we're going to be using a sprite in just a second. We'll also create void update, taking in int elapsed time, and of course void draw, taking in a graphics object as well. Okay. Next, we need 3 private variables. For one, we're going to keep track of our player. Easy enough. And then we're going to have 2 sprites. Well, we'll start with the first one for now. Health bar sprite. We'll put in both for now, that's okay. So health bar sprite and then health number 1. I'll explain to you in a bit why we're using the number 1 instead of just a health number. It'll become obvious once we look at our sprite sheet for this stuff. Okay, so these are of type sprite. So now let's create hud.cpp in our source folder. So here we're going to say include hud.h and include graphics.h and include player.h. So our default constructor we're not implementing now. Now our real constructor. So before we do this, we need to get our sprite sheet. So open up your sprites folder and then go into the Cavestory data folder and copy over textbox.pbm. Open that up, save it as a PNG. We don't need that anymore. Alright, save that as a PNG. Close out of that. Go back to Eclipse. No, go back to here. Delete the PBM. Alright, so I'm going to open this up so we can look at it for a second. So health bar, what is health bar? Health bar is this. From here to here. That's health bar. We need to get that on the screen. Health number is one of these. These are our numbers. So we're going to first draw this health bar to the screen and then get the number on there too. So the numbers I figured out before, which are in the details here. Health bar sprite, x of 0, y of 40. The x is 0 because it starts all the way on the left side, and the y is 40 because it starts 40 pixels down from the top. The width is 64 and the height is 8. The width is 64, the height is 8. And then 35 as an x and a y of 70 is our screen position. And that's where we're going to draw it. So let's do that. So the first thing we're going to say is player equals player, just so that we store our player. So we're going to need it later on. Then we're going to say health bar sprite equals sprite. The sprite constructor takes a graphics object, a path to our sprite sheet, the x of 40, the y, or the x of 0, the y of 40, the width of 64, the height of 8, the screen pause x of 35, and the screen pause y of 70. That's it. Then we'll create our HUD update, passing in the lapse time, and then we're just going to say, we don't have to do anything there yet. Then we'll do our HUD draw. Health bar sprite dot draw, giving it graphics. The health bar sprite. We're going to implement this function in a second. Get x and health bar sprite get y. X and y are private variables of sprite, so we need to make a getter for x and y. So go to sprite.h, underneath get collision side here, just say const inline float get x const return x, and same thing for y. Okay, so now that that's implemented, go back to hud.cpp, the red line should go away. Excellent. Now all that's left to do is go to game.cpp, actually go to game.h first, and underneath level here, make a new HUD object, include hud.h. Okay, then go to game.cpp. Underneath our player, we're going to say this HUD equals HUD. Constructor takes in a graphics and a player, so give it graphics and player. Good. Then down in draw, we want to draw the HUD last, after everything else, so that it draws on top of everything else. So I'm going to put a space there just so we know this always goes last. And then in update, we could just call update here. It's not doing anything just yet, but we can still put it there. And that's it. Build. See if it all builds. And it does not. Field has incomplete type player. Oh, we can't forward declare player because this isn't a pointer. I was looking at this, so thinking it would be okay as a pointer, or as a forward declare because this is a pointer. But we need to actually include player.h. So get rid of that forward declare and just include player.h, and then in hud.cpp, get rid of that include. Build that, and it looks like it builds. So run it, and there we go. And the top left of the screen, for some reason quote is behaving weird. Is my keyboard screwed up? My keyboard might be screwed up. Anyway, in the top left of my screen, you see this health bar. That's good. That's what we want. So the health bar shows up. Now we need to get the number next to it of how much health we actually have. So go into player.cpp. We need to set those variables for max health and current health. So underneath grounded here, we're going to say max health. We're going to set it to 3 because that's the starting health in Cavestory. Quote starts with 3 health. And then current health can also be 3 because he starts with full health. Alright, so now all that's left to do, go to hud.cpp. Let's draw in, we'll say, health number 1 dot draw graphics health number 1 dot get x health number 1 dot get y. We also have to initialize it up here. So I'll say sprite graphics content sprites text box dot png, and then the numbers that I have in the details on the notes for this one are 0, 56, 8, 8, 66, and 70. Those are the numbers that work. That's the right position for the number. If I go ahead and hit play, we see 0. Why does quote start out running and like broken? Is that a bug? That's not good. You do that over here too. Okay, I don't know what's going on there. If you run into that bug, let me know. We'll fix it. Seems inconsistent to me and a little weird. Alright, So why do we have a 0? The reason we have 0 here is because we're never actually setting it equal to our health. So if you look at the sprite sheet again, 0 is the first one here. We started out at 0, so it's always going to draw 0 with a width of 8. Each of these numbers has a width of 8. So that's 8 pixels. So what we need to do is we need to get the health and then multiply the source rect x 8 times whatever the health is, and we'll get the right one here. So if the health is 3, 8 times 3 will start us out at 24. So this is 8. Well, this is 0, this is 8, 16, 24. And it'll show 3. So let me do that. In update, I'll say health number 1 set source rect x, which is another function we're going to implement now. 8 times player dot get current health. Okay, so set source rect x. We need to go into sprite.h. Underneath get y here, we're going to make 2 more functions. We're going to say set source rect x, passing in the value, and set source rect y, passing in the value. Right now there's no way to change the source rectangle for a sprite, and that's a problem. So we need to be able to change it. So now go into sprite.cpp, and we're going to implement this. Underneath everything, we'll just say void sprite set source rect x into value. This source rect.x equals value. Okay. Then also set source rect y. We're not using this function yet, but we're going to eventually. So might as well implement it now. So go ahead and build that. Make sure it all compiles. And now, since Hud.update is getting called already from the game class, if we run it, we see a 3. And that 3 is there because I really don't like how quote is running backwards. I don't know what happened. That 3 is there because it's updating the based on quote's health, which we set to 3. So that's it. That works. There is one more thing that I want to do. Let me set that to idle right and see if that changes anything. How come when I hit left, we're not running left? Looking up is not true, is it? Oh, alright, that's an interesting problem. Let's set looking up to false and looking down to false from the start. We never initialize those, and booleans initialize to false if you don't set them. There we go. That fixes everything. Alright, booleans start out false if you don't set them, so by default. So make sure you set them. Well, that's weird though, because it should have started out as false. I don't know. I don't know why that was happening when those weren't being initialized. Maybe garbage was being put in there. This is why we were having trouble running. Looking down was true and grounded was true when I hit the ground, so it was just returning out of this, and it was never working. It was never changing direction or anything. Okay, that makes more sense. So now that we initialize those, everything's working nicely. We have our health up in the top left. Looks good. One last thing I want to do. we're actually going to go to, we're going to open this up in paint.net. You could open it up in whatever it is you use for editing things. So here we are. Let me zoom in. Let me find my mouse. Hello. Okay. Zoom in. We need to add transparency to this. Set the tolerance to like 1% on your magic wand. Select all the black stuff and cut. It's not going to get all of it at all. It's going to get some of it. You're going to have to go into some of these and just try to select the black and cut it out. The important ones though are these white numbers. Try not to get the brown that's in there. Try to look closely. I'll zoom in even more so we can see the difference. See how this is brown and this is black here? Get all the black. Leave all the brown. Because right now, instead of seeing the red bar behind the number 3, we're seeing this black and it's ugly. So just make sure you get rid of all the black, but nothing else. If you don't get all of it, it's okay. Some stuff just might look a little weird. Don't worry about it. Not too big of a deal. There's a lot of it. That looks to be about it for the white numbers and the red numbers, I guess. That's brown, so that's okay. Get rid of it in the max, I guess. We'll be using that soon. Level doesn't seem to have any here. Points, I don't know what that's used for yet. Warp, I also don't know. I guess that's in the menu. Air we might use for when we're underwater. Alright, that looks pretty good. These, I guess. Resume. Reset. And quit. Alright, that's good enough. There are a few more spots. I don't know where though right now. I guess arms. Alright, that looks pretty good. Is that brown or black? That's black. Alright, so I'm done with that. Looks pretty good. I think. It's addicting. I can't. Whenever I'm about to stop, I see more. Alright, good. Very good. My goodness. Okay, I'm done. So now it looks better. So now if you save that and go back to Eclipse and run it, or whatever you're using and run it, now you can see that the 3, instead of having black behind it, has red behind it because that's the color of the bar. Now, briefly, the reason I called it health number 1 is because think about when this health goes over 9 and it's 2 digits. There's going to have to be a calculation of some sort that then we have 2 numbers to make up the 2 digits. So this one will just always be the number that's supposed to be on the right side. So if there's 2 digits, it'll be the second digit. If there's 1 digit, it'll just be the first digit. So we'll figure all that out later. But for now, this looks good. So then let's talk about next time. In the next episode, I'll write it. More HUD. Let's look at textbox.png. Let's figure out what we want to add in next. So we have gun experience, and actually I can open this up. This is a screenshot of, can I zoom in? This is a screenshot of the real Cavestory, the HUD. So we have our health bar, it looks great. We can certainly work on getting this lighter red part in next time. We also have to do the gun experience. I'm thinking we'll just get the gun experience in next time and get like this stuff all in. And then after that, I'll work on the bars inside. So there will be 3 parts to this for now. Next time we'll just get all this other stuff in. Very short episode because we already have everything built. Then I'll work on the health bar inside to change when we lose health or gain health. So yeah, more Hud for next time. Whoops. So again, I am Limeoats. My website is limeoats.com. My Twitter is @limeoats. Ask me any questions there or on my subreddit, which you can see by going to this link. And all of this code will, of course, be on GitHub. So, why do I have an error in hud.cpp? Alright, I don't. Yeah, thank you all for watching, and I will see you next time.